We're here with Trek Chats, your internet source for the offbeat, fan-based news you crave about the Star Trek series.
Beaming you behind-the-scenes facts, expert opinions, and fascinating ideas about the planet's most renowned science fiction show.
Okay, so tell me, what are you guys trying to do?
Well, after we're celebrating the 15th anniversary of Free Enterprise, which has been around for 15 years, and we decided to launch a Kickstarter to support our plans to do a TV pilot for Free Enterprise. Anyone who grew up on Star Trek or has watched Star Trek has real passion for it. And it goes beyond nostalgia. I think it is something we embrace as people who, at heart, optimists. I don't think cynics have ever embraced Star Trek. And it's the old Star Trek versus Star Wars, I think that the cynicism of a Han Solo doesn't really exist in the Star Trek universe. And I love Star Wars, but there's something about Star Trek that's really unique, that taps into something in each of us. It's the philosophy, it's the characters, it's the world and the universe, the very rich universe. And I think that is why people are so passionate, and whether it's fan fiction, fan films, stuff musing on being a Star Trek fan are also very popular, and I think there's also a hunger for new material. Whether you love the new J.J. Abrams films or haven't embraced them, the fact is they're 4 years between each one, 3 years if a new one comes out in 2016, and fans want more. They're hungry for more Star Trek content, and that's why the fan films have proved to be so successful. I think that's why people hopefully will want to see Free Enterprise. It's why people go back and watch the episodes of all their favorite series, whether it be the original, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, and why they're so popular on Netflix and streaming. It's because there's an insatiable appetite, much like the Doomsday Machine, to bring in that content, because a film every couple years is just not enough. One of the challenges of geek-centric entertainment is you find most executives don't really understand it. They equate geek culture with nerd culture. There's certain expectations of what it is, and I just don't think that the Free Enterprise that we put on movie screens would be something that would be embraced without dramatic changes in the development process if it even made it to the screen. By doing a Kickstarter, it is truly proof of concept to show people what our intentions are and how the show can work. And I think it's the same thing by doing the film independently. Unlike going to a studio or network, which is what I would do and have done on many other shows, it's a different way, it's an exciting way, it's a fresh way, and it's a way to preserve the integrity of everything we tried to do with Free Enterprise. Look, we're not the kind of people that are going to go out and make a film about a property we don't own. I admire and I have a tremendous amount of respect for people who are making the fan films, but we're established writers and producers, and so our Free Enterprise is about our love for Star Trek. It's not our attempt to do Star Trek, and it pays homage to the spirit and the passion and the philosophy of Star Trek, but it also is about a lot of other things too. I mean, these characters are facing challenges in their own personal lives. They're dealing, with relationships, they're dealing with friendships, they're dealing with successes and failures, and that is the heart of good drama. It's what Free Enterprise is about. And I always say one of the most satisfying things about the original movie is the fact that you don't have to be a Star Trek fan or a sci-fi fan, or somebody goes to San Diego Comic-Con to love Free Enterprise, because you could be passionate about sports. There could be a movie in which, instead of Shatner, it's Eli Manning. I don't know. I'm not a sports fan, but Joe Namath. I'm dating myself, but in our it's about Shatner. So I love the fact when people who aren't fans of the genre say, "I love your movie," even if they're not fans of Star Trek, because they can relate to those characters feeling that strongly about something, even if they don't feel that way about Shatner. I felt that the way I traditionally sell TV shows, going to networks and studios, was not going to work for Free Enterprise, that this was a very different kind of show, very special show, very niche and unique show, and that it was worth trying Kickstarter. Now, whether or not this will work, because we are asking for a fairly substantial amount of money in Kickstarter terms, but it's a very small amount of money to shoot a pilot. But we also didn't want to ask for a lot less and then not be able to do it well, or have to do it cheesy because, Obviously, we have to use SAG actors and a union crew, and so it's not possible for us to go out and spend $12 and make a great pilot. But in the scheme of things, what we're spending on the pilot is substantially less than we would if we were doing this with a network or a studio. At the heart of Free Enterprise, much like the original Star Trek, it's a show about friendship. And I think there's a lot of stories to be mined in the friendship of these characters. There's some new characters that we introduce. There's a very rich story tapestry, and there's a lot about geekdom that we want to explore. I mean, we already have the first season sort of figured out, and there's a really interesting arc. So, Free Enterprise is about these guys who meet their idol and find out he's more screwed up than they are, and they learn because they find their idol had feet of clay. The series is very much about these characters and them intersecting with different celebrities who they also find out are not exactly what they expected to encounter, and that's why where the Entourage, Curb Your Enthusiasm comparison comes in, because we do intend, while Shatner is not a part of this television series, because we're still hoping we get to make the sequel film, which he is very involved in, that we would have different celebrities who appear in each episode, and we have some really fun things planned with some really fun celebrities. It sort of takes place in an alternate universe from the movie, in the sense it's a prequel, but it's contemporary. It's not a period piece, but it's these characters before they met William Shatner, before they made Free Enterprise, when basically the character of Rob is still shooting wedding videos to try and realize his dream of making movies, and Mark is running a magazine, and that brings him into contact with a lot of really interesting characters.
What's the magazine about?
It's sort of a sci-fi movie magazine, and of course he aspires for greater things, and is frustrated by the craziness. Also, we deal with something that could have never existed in the Free Enterprise, where the web is sort of destroying print, and he's sort of like old school and is sad to sort of see print going by the wayside as everything goes web. So even as he's getting older, he's seeing this next generation of geeks who have these crazy skills that are sort of supplanting him, and he sort of has to grow with the time. So there's a lot of things that things that didn't exist when we made Free Enterprise. God, we had a movie about Laserdisc, talking about Laserdisc. So there's a lot has changed in the 15 years since we made that movie, and we're going to address a lot of that in the TV show. If people are interested, again, we realize it's a tough financial time. Not everybody is in a position to contribute, whether it's $1 or $100. We appreciate it, but to even just go on the site, Kickstarter.com, check out the page, and spread the word. That's the biggest service you can do, the campaign, is to let other people know that this exists, that there's an opportunity to fund this project, and that would be, fantastic.